Hi there, this is Professor Innes, and you are now on your 13th module, which is the problems of philosophy of religion, and with a particular reference to the problems of evil. So, you're doing just one module on religion, but nonetheless it is it's interesting and important because we philosophers have got to understand that we're not theologians. We don't presume God's existence. If anybody's going to say that God exists, then they have to prove that God exists, which is very difficult. We'd all like to say our beliefs and our trust, our faith in God's existence will suffice. But again, we are philosophers. We can't presume anything exists, where we had problems in presuming the existence of moral universals or absolutes, in the sense of somebody can't prove they exist, then they don't exist. Then the relativists have got a good argument. Likewise, we're going to discuss later on politics. We've just been through this election. I don't know how much of it was actually to do with political theory, but anyway, I'm sure there was somewhere. We're going to try to understand here that people argue that the world should be run in a certain way because of the presumptions of human nature. Now, we have to prove that people act in certain ways, therefore we have certain forms of government. The argument might be consistent, but the initial proof is not provided. Therefore, it's a problem of political theory. Right, so back to religion. We've got this basic understanding with religion that there is a God, all-powerful, and for our purposes at the moment, all-good. So therefore, it's an all-powerful, all-good God who can carry out acts which are going to make our stay on the planet Earth, I dare say, most agreeable. But as we see, there is a problem. And as you can understand with David Hume, he points out these problems as being quite acute. Life on Earth isn't that great. So we'll say to ourselves, if there are natural disasters and there are human disasters and people suffer from illness and all of these evils, then why doesn't God do anything about it? So the arguments go that God has a purpose. We think to ourselves, we'll say that we've got illness predominant through the human species. Now, we might say to God, I can see you testing us in this way for whatever reason, but could you test us in another way, please, and make us well? Give us some mathematics or something, or some physics problems to deal with here. But no, these problems are acutely physical in nature, and they're there to test us. So therefore, that's the justification of God creating evil in the sense of human illness. But we're not satisfied with this. That doesn't make sense. If we've got an all-good God, an all-powerful God, that these disasters, these illnesses for man, these predominant, constant tasks and tests we have through our daily lives are present, and they could be done away with by a God who's all good and all-powerful. You would think if he's all good, he wouldn't want us to be in this state of frustration and pain and suffering, having to deal with all these apparently unnecessary things all the time. So we think to ourselves, what on earth's going on here? We've got a problem, and this is the problem of evil according to David Hume. Now, this is just one area you're going to deal with, but it's the predominant area which you're going to refer to in your text. In your introduction, you're going to come across lots of other aspects of the discussion of religion and the problems of religion. So go through those as well, please. I'll let you delve into those. But predominantly it is David Hume's problems of evil. Now, while doing this, please keep in mind that you're going to write this journal entry, and this journal entry is basically the understanding that there are types of evil in the world. So could you write down, with a discussion and a description, 3 types of evil which God would justify in order to make our lives better as human beings. But of course, you would criticize this justification because you think to yourselves, why have you done this to us? Why is it the case that evil exists? What's the point of this? So think about those three cases of evil which are justified by God, but we have problems in accepting because there's an all-powerful, all-good God out there who we would think would want to do away with this type of evil. So I'll let you think about that. It could be social. If you want, lots of people have said what happened on Tuesday was an evil. It's here to test us. We could say that God has done this to us, but for what reason God has done it? Explain that, please, and why we probably would not accept this as a justification. But nonetheless, do describe the justification put forward by God, and describe your critique of that justification, please. And again, you have to use a bit of imagination with this one. Because it's news coverage did not cover this aspect of the election, for example, or the last natural disaster, or any occurrence out there whereby something bad happened, and you thought to yourself, if there was a God, why did God let this happen? And considering He's all powerful and all good, so therefore, provide God's justification and also your critique of that justification. Again, it's all premised upon God being all powerful and all good. So I'm just going to leave it at that, and that will be your journal entry. And again, this is the philosophy of religion, and the basic point is that people say that God exists, but there's no real proof of God's existence. As such, it's not indubitable in nature, therefore we've got problems, and your concentration is on David Hume and evil. And you'll find as well that David Hume's writing will provide you with a quite good lot of insight into doing your journal entry, so keep that in mind, please. Okay, let me know if you need anything, and enjoy the 13th module. Okay, have a nice time. Bye-bye.